Goodbye YouTube, and welcome to the second day of daily uploads for this week. If you missed day number 1, the link to that will be in the top left hand corner of the video, and as you can see from the team preview and from the title, I am going back to my roots, which is RU. For those of you who do not know, RU is my favorite tier. I stopped playing it just because it got boring, and because Black and White 2 came out, I decided to make a new team. And potential threats on my opponent's team, the real only thing I'm going to be scared of is going to be the Mag Mortar, also the Pharaoh Seed, because entry hazards and Mag Mortar, if he's Life Orbed or Expert Build, can really do a number to my team, so I definitely have to watch out for that. But besides that, I can pretty much deal with the rest of his team, and hopefully I will be able to pull out the victory. So let's get the battle started. My opponent's going to be leading off with the fairly obvious Galvantula lead, as I'm going to be leading off with my Cofagrigus. Now, what I should have done was let off with my Nidoqueen, and what I should have done this turn was switched into my Nidoqueen, sorry, seeing as the Volt Switch was fairly obvious, but I decided to stay in, go for the Will-O-Wisp, completely forgetting about the fact that, hey, you just saw Mag Mortar in the team preview. So I'm going to stay in. I'm hoping I can take a hit from it so I can see if he's probably Scarfed or Specs, and he turns out to be Life Orb, which is why he just utterly annihilates my Cofagrigus. So right off the bat, I lose my Cofagrigus, which could have been a key member of this battle. So I'm switching to my Rotom, hoping that maybe he'll be scared out and maybe thinking that I can finish him off with a Thunderbolt. I'm going to get behind a Substitute. Unfortunately, he does miss the Fire Blast, and I'm not going to say that that didn't matter, because obviously it did. Because as you see there, I will be able to easily 2-hit KO the Mag Mortar, as he's going to break my Substitute with the Hidden Power, more than likely Grass or Ice. So I'm just going to stay in, and I'm actually going to switch up my moves, and I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball on the off chance that he actually does decide to bring in the Galvantula just to resist the hit. Wait, does Galvantula resist the hit? No, it's neutral, right? So if it's neutral, then Shadow Ball is neutral, so wouldn't Thunderbolt do more? I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to switch it to my Nidoqueen, seeing that the Volt Switch is very, very obvious, so now I can either go for my Toxic Spikes or I can go for the Stealth Rocks. Now, yes, he does have 2 potential Rapid Spinners on his team, but that's why I actually want to get on my Toxic Spike, so I can Toxic those 2 Rapid Spinners, and that way just wither them down. I just mainly want to Toxic the Sand Slash, just because it is more bulky than the Hitmonchan. And I'm going to switch into my Clefable, thinking he would just go for the Fire Blast, but he ends up going for the Hidden Power. And I guess because he went for Hidden Power on my Nidoqueen, it's probably Hidden Power Ice. So the following turn, he's going to miss the Focus Blast, but at the amount of HP that I'm at, I'm pretty positive I would have been able to take 1 hit. Then the following turn, gone for the Protect and whatever he decided to bring in on my Clefable, and still got the Wish. So I guess in the long run it really doesn't matter. But now I'm going to switch back into my Nidoqueen on the off chance that maybe he wants to go for the Focus Blast again. But no, he does switch up his moves and goes for the Fire Blast, and I managed to get rid of the Mag Mortar, which was the biggest which was the biggest potential threat on my opponent's team. So he's going to bring in the Pharaoh Seed, which I would say is a bad play. If I was him, I would have brought in the Sand Slash, because now I can freely get out my second layer of Toxic Spikes, and the following turn I will be able to get out my Stealth Rock, seeing as the only way Sand Slash will be able to Rapid Spin or do any damage to my Rotom is if he is carrying Stone Edge. And nowadays in the RU tier, I've not seen a Sand Slash that carry Stone Edge often. They mostly carry Toxic, so I can freely get up all my entry hazards as he's going to get up a layer of Spikes. In the following turn, he makes a phenomenal play and actually predicts me to switch out, and he's actually going to go for the Thunder Wave, knowing that Nidoqueen can obviously not do anything to Pharaoh Seed. So that was a great play on my opponent's part, because now what I was hoping to do was go for the Rapid Spin, spin away the Spikes, and go for the Ice Beam the following turn. But now I'm going to be forced to bring in my Clefable, seeing as the Leech Seed is very obvious. And because I do have the Magic Guard ability, I'm not going to be affected by it. So I'm actually going to pull a double switch out into my Rotom, thinking that he would bring in the Sand Slash this turn so he could freely Rapid Spin. But no, he decides to bring in the Galvantula, and because I did get the Rocks up, it will end up dying off as he brings in the Cofagrigus. Now, Cofagrigus is a very bulky ass Pokemon, trust me, I would know. So I'm going to sub up just to see if maybe he's Calm Mind, if he's Trick Room. But he does decide just to go straight for the Shadow Ball, which is fine by me, because now I can rack up an extra turn of Toxic damage. And yeah, obviously that crit mattered to break my Substitute, because a super effective Shadow Ball to Rotom that has practically no special defense, or defense for that matter, really did matter. sorry, I'm in a good mood right now. So I'm gonna bring back in my Clefable, knowing that maybe he was going to go for the Shadow Ball. In the following turn, I'm actually going to pull a switch out into my Rotom, the off chance that maybe he is a Trick Room Nasty Plot variant. Then I know he's going to go for the Hidden Power fighting this turn, so I can get another turn of Toxic damage on him. But he ends up pulling a double switch out, so I'm guessing he's obviously more of a bulky spread as he brings in the Hitmonchan. Now here, I'm not entirely too sure what I do. I believe I do decide to pull a double switch, or actually stay in. Yeah, I do stay in because I'm faster, so if I had switched, then I would have switched. So so I do go for the plane split, knowing that I can take practically any hit from the Hitmonchan, but then again, that was very risky, seeing as if he was scarfed, then the Ice Punch could have easily taken me out, but because he switched out, I know he's more than likely not going to be scarfed. So I'm going to sub up on my Rotom, thinking that at the amount of HP that he's at right now, a Shadow Ball is not going to be able to take him out. So I could get an extra turn of toxic damage racking up on him, and that with the following turn I can finish him off. But he actually decides to rest, and as you're about to see, I severely underestimated Rotom's power. Like, look at that! Oh my... That is easily like 80% to a Cofagrigus. And honestly, Sub-Split Rotom is one of the most underrated threats in RU, if you ask me. I fucking love Sub-Split Rotom. This is actually the reason why I made this team. I based it around Sub-Split Rotom and Excavalier, two very potential threats in the RU tier that, oh, I'm just happy that are there right now. So he's going to bring in the Pharaoh Seed, and obviously because I am running low on HP, I'm just going to go for the Pain Split. That way I can get some damage off on him, and I can regain some recovery for later on in the battle. So he's going to go for the Gyro Ball. To my surprise, he actually doesn't break my Substitute, and here, I wouldn't say this was a dumb play, because Thunderbolt wouldn't have done anything either, but I actually thought that Thunderbolt was resisted and Shadow Ball was neutral, which is why I went for Shadow Ball as opposed to going for the Thunderbolt. So yeah, but then again, as I said, they're both resisted, so Thunderbolt still would have done nothing, so it really isn't that big of a deal in the long run of the battle. As I'm going to bring in my Clefable, obviously not wanting to take a Shadow Ball and knowing that Thunderbolt and, not wanting to take a Gyro Ball and knowing that Thunderbolt won't do anything to Pharaoh Seed, I can get a free switch to my Clefable, go for the Heal Bell, get the Paralysis off of my Cryogonal. That way later on in the battle, if I do have to Rapid Spin, I don't have to worry about me getting paralyzed, or if I do have to take out the Sand Slash, I can just go for Ice Beam freely and not have to worry about the paralysis and being slower than Sand Slash on the off chance that maybe he is carrying the Stone Edge, which is very rare, as I said earlier in the narration. So I believe I got rid of the Pharaoh Seed there. I looked away for a second because I thought somebody was looking through me at the window, but I'm going to Protect just to see what he wants to do with the Sand Slash. The off chance that maybe he does have leftovers, I can see that, but as I said, I'm pretty positive he's going to be either Choice Banded or Life Orb. So I'm going to switch out into my Nidoqueen on the off chance that maybe he is Choice Band, but as you're about to see, he ends up switching his moves, so he turns out to be Life Orb because he's going to get some Life Orb recoil, which was a again, another good play on this part because the switch was very obvious, but luckily because Nidoqueen is so bulky, I will be able to live that, get an extra turn of Life Orb damage and an extra turn of Toxic damage, as he's going to finish me off with the second Ice Punch. But honestly, at the amount of HP that he's at right now, I'm pretty sure I can easily just bring in my Gario and finish him off with the Thunderbolt or the Shadow Ball, and I do go for Shadow Ball. And I was actually very close to going for the Substitute, but then I thought about it. His last is Sand Slash, which, as I said, do not tend to carry Stone Edge, so I really have nothing to worry about it. And I will be able to pull out the victory, and Sub-Split Rotom, easily the MVP of this battle. But yeah, guys, this was the second day of daily uploads for this week. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and with that, I do believe I am out of here, guys. Later.